Hello, I'm Julia, and this video is all about my string quartet number 14. This is a slow, very sustained piece, at least initially, and at the heart of it, it's really a play on the syncopated rhythms that are found right from the very start. So in the very first bar, 3 of the 4 parts have slightly different but overlapping syncopated rhythms. And I was interested in the textural effect of layering these. On the one hand, trying to get the movement and the slight swing that comes with syncopation, but at the same time, at this slow tempo, trying to maintain this very sustained line, which is in a way what the differently placed minims in the second violin and the viola parts are intended to do. So it wants to glide, but with a little bit of movement going on underneath, rather than feeling very rhythmic, very syncopated. The syncopated notes are just there to create a little bit of movement. The piece is built on a 16-bar phrase which repeats 6 times, just about. And as with quite a few of my other pieces, there's no real variation in tonality. This is all about the rhythm and the texture. So structurally it's pretty simple. It starts off very expressive and quite graceful, quite delicate. But I couldn't resist bending it a little bit and breaking it, so slowly the odd misplaced note starts to creep in. So, for example, we've got a B flat in the second violin at B, and then a G sharp in the cello in the following bar, and an F natural in the first violin in the bar after that. So it just starts to mutate slightly. I'm originally a biochemist, so I think maybe in the back of my mind I was thinking about mutating this, evolving it very slowly, not necessarily noticeably at first, but with effects that will later come through and have a bit more of an effect. So when we get to the third 16-bar phrase at D, things start to intensify a bit. We get these quite mechanical repeating quavers in the first violin, which start to eat away at the sustained feeling, even though the sustained lines are still going on in the other parts. And this builds up into F, where suddenly the texture changes, the continuous lines are gone, and we have these staccato semiquavers appearing. The cello is still playing the melody from before, but it now has these very deliberate gaps in between notes. And the viola is maintaining some of the syncopation from before, but it's interspersing it with these chromatic semiquaver figures. So the elements are there from what we had before, but they're now in a different form. They've mutated. And this pattern continues at H, where we get our 4th repeat. Although this time we do get the sustained melody back in the first violin, but we've now got this very pared down, very chromatic interjection from the cello, and lots of movement in the other parts, so it feels as though the first violin is fighting a losing battle, trying to maintain the sustained line. But it's still fighting, but it seems that eventually the whole thing starts to give up and fade away under all of this chaos. Suddenly at J, we get a clear bass note coming through in the cello, and it all comes back together again. But alas, only for 2 bars. Then off goes the cello with the semiquavers again, and after sticking together for a couple of bars, then all of the other parts go off in their own direction as well. But they're all referring back to each other, and they're all referring back to things that we've heard before. As for that expressive, sustained, delicate opening, really, we've got as far away from that as we possibly can.